Good morning, everybody. A lot of people often ask, where was the Ark of the Covenant? And there's all kinds of theories. Did it go to Africa? And there's the Ethiopian Orthodox Church that has one church where they claim that the Ark of the Covenant is. They have one priest who goes in there once a year. I've never heard an idea that the Romans have it, even though many other items from the temple were, but because the Ark of the Covenant was not present, it would seem, even when Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Jerusalem, let alone when the Romans destroyed it centuries later. And so it's worthwhile to see what is the Jewish tradition about that. So the Mishnah in Shekalim, Shekalim talks about the census that was done annually in the Holy Land, and it was done in an indirect manner because we know that several places in Scripture it says not to make a direct census. And the way that it was done was that a half shekel was collected from every male that was eligible for military conscription. That's basically how it was a head tax that also served as an indirect census. And so you had a half shekel coin given. This is taught in the book of Exodus in the Bible, in the Torah. So the Mishnah says like this, so that money that was collected was used for the temple funds, for the needs, for the sacrifices, and so forth. So it says says there were 13 horns that were used as like a piggy bank, as where to store these coins. In the temple, there were 13 tables. And there were also 13 tables, and since we're looking at things that are number 13, and also 13 places where they would prostrate themselves in worship in the temple. So Beis Rabban Gamliel shall Beis Rabbi Chanina Skana Kehanim. However, those who were from the house of Rabban Gamliel and those who were from the house of Rabbi Chanina Skana Kohanim, they would make 14 prostrations. This comes because quite often in the Talmud you'll have, if things are similar, so we have 3 examples of 13s. So since there were 13 places where they would bow and worship with a full prostration, that's why this was mentioned here, even though it's not directly connected to this particular issue of the of the counting of the coins of this indirect census. But since it's another thing that's a number 13, that's why it's mentioned here. However, it says there were 2 families, the families of Rabban Gamliel and the families of Chanina Skana Kohanim, that they would prostrate in 14 places. And the question is, where was this extra prostration? Keneged dir ha'etzim. And so they say it was next to the place where the wood was stored. Shekain mesuras biyada me'avasehem shesham ha'aron nignaz. Because they had a tradition from their ancestors that is where the Ark of the Covenant was hidden. It was buried underneath the Temple Mount, and we can assume that it's still there to this day. So then it brings a story that represents this as well. So Maisa, B'chayin Echod, Shahayim is Asik. There was one priest in the temple who was busying himself, maybe doing what we would call busy work. And he saw that in one place the floor, we would assume it means the tiles of the floor, one area, the tiles appeared different than the other tiles. So he went and told his friend, come look at this, how the tiles on the floor are different than those of the other tiles. Like hispik likmoras adavar. There wasn't enough time to finish this thing that he was talking about, until his soul left him, meaning the priest died in the temple because he approached this place in the floor above where the Ark of the Covenant was, just like we know this story in the Bible about Uzzah, that there was, in the time of King David, it looked like the Ark of the Covenant was about to fall, so there was a man named Uzzah who touched the Ark to try to push it back up, and he died. So then they knew for surety, it literally means in unity, that there is where the Ark of the Covenant was hidden. So it would seem that this story, it's not clear whether or not the tradition was based on this story, or the other way around, that the tradition was there, but perhaps this priest was unaware of it, and he was showing it, and that's where it came from. In any event, that's the story that we have. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you later. Alright, how do I turn this thing off?